Welcome back to the Northwest Tank Line Super Bowl show, coming to you from the Convention Center, Radio Row in Phoenix. Super Bowl 57. Chiefs taking on the Eagles. It's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic, as we're wrapping up this Friday. And look who's in town. Well, actually, he lives here now. Our good friend, our old friend, Mitch Berger, Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mitchie, nice to see you.
I got to break it out today. It's been getting some dust on it.
I remember, I think it might have been Detroit. I don't know where you were with us. No, it wasn't Detroit. Where you were with us might have been Jacksonville. The plate came off.
Oh, yeah, that's come off a few times. This is my second one, though. This is not the original ring, because the one that the plate came off, the diamonds have come off, sides have come off. I've had it fixed like 4 times. I've sent it back to them to get fixed, like when it's gotten beaten up, or I've given it to people, or they stole it. I always found it, and I always got it back. And then when I went to Disneyland with my ex-wife and MJ, the maid stole it out of my bag in my room.
Really?
So we were, before the year I moved back here 6 years ago, we came here to look at places. On the way back, we hit Disneyland. We're at the Disneyland Hotel. And I put my bag down, and a bed got fixed. Didn't think twice that my bag was on the other side of the room. I thought about it later. We got to our house in Vancouver looking for my keys, same place I keep my ring. Gone. Sued them, police reports, blah, blah, blah. Went
it's like a White Lotus episode.
Yeah, man. And then I finally, after like 6 months or a year or something, I got a new. So this is like barely been worn, but this is the second version of the same ring.
One of these teams will win, one of them will lose. You've won. What's that feeling like at the end of the game when you are a Super Bowl champion?
It's unbelievable, man. I mean, it felt like it was a dream or a fairy tale or something. I just remember the confetti and wearing my robe, and somebody goes, "Hey, you should take some of that." And I'm stuffing confetti and grass in the field in my pockets. I still got a whole bowl of it in my office. And I remember my dad. My dad who's passed now with Parkinson's. He couldn't come on the field, and I just remember him being up in the stands. And Burns grabs my camera and starts videoing. I'm like, "Make sure you get all this." And I'm throwing security guards out of the way, and I'm running into the stands and jumping on my dad and my mom and telling my dad I got him one. And I remember my dad screaming. He was crying so loud. I'd never seen him cry before. And he was literally screaming at the top of his lungs. And Burns, he got it all on video for me, which was great.
Awesome.
And it was amazing. I don't know what it's like to lose one. The best I can say, I've lost 2 NFC championships with the Vikings. It was horrible. From everybody I'm listening to just today telling stories, apparently losing the Super Bowl is absolutely awful and something you'll never forget. And I'm just glad that after Larry Fitzgerald caught that touchdown to go deep, and we had 2 minutes left or whatever it was, Ben went on the one best drives ever to go to San Antonio Holmes with the toes in the back of the end zone, so I didn't have to feel that pain.
It was a fairy tale, considering the fact that you were in the league for 16 years before you finally win one. So you paid your dues.
I did.
And then the Steelers were your dad's team growing up, right?
Yeah, I was born and raised a Steelers fan since I can remember doing anything. And to get to even play for his hometown team, to take him to opening day, then to win a playoff game with him, and then to win the Super Bowl, it just got better and better and better. And then, my sister passed of ALS a few years ago. My dad passed a couple years ago. My mom just passed this year. And the last time my family was all together was wearing my 17 jersey in the stands at the Super Bowl when I won it. So my memory of the last time my whole family was alive, on top of, just to make this heavy, is winning the Super Bowl and seeing them all up there and with the confetti and everything. And so it's a very nice memory for me.
Talk about the pressure in this game. And there's a great story that you've told us in the past. Actually, it was on our podcast when you got into the BC Sports Hall of Fame. I didn't know it, and the first time I heard it, and I howled. And that's like the night before you're on the bus.
Oh, yeah. The day that, you stay at your hotel, and then they put you to another hotel, the secret hotel, and you're away from the family and the friends and all the hubbub, and they bring you to a secret location. Once they close those doors, the guys got their M16s or their rifles or whatever they got. You got security everywhere, black ops taking you to the hotel. Once they shut that door, you're like, the next time I see anybody or talk to anybody or have any contact with anybody, we're going to have won, we're going to have lost, I'm going to have played well, I'm going to have played terrible, I'm going to be Scott Norwood, I'm going to be I'm definitely not doing this to help us win. If anything, we could go give him a field goal, I'm going to hold it, or I'm going to drop it and be the guy who held for Scott Norwood. And so all those things kind of ran through my head, and the pressure hit me like a ton, and I was absolutely paralyzed on the bus. I couldn't move, I couldn't think. I literally couldn't move for 2-3 minutes, and I was like, oh my God, I can't play in this game. What am I doing here? I can't do this. And then it came over me after a little bit, and I calmed down, and started hanging with the guys and whatever, and I got back into the flow of it. But for a bit, I was scared to death. And then, maybe all the years of playing and it was just all that, it all hit me at once, and then I went back to normal.
Mitch Berger, Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the pride in North Delta. David Sanchez was on, so he was already repping the North Delta Huskies for
Nice.
you. They talk about it just being, quote, another game once you start playing. I mean, is it though? I mean, when you kind of look around and you see the crowd and this and the fighter jets, but once you actually kick off, do you kind of like try to put away what's at stake and just try to play it as another game?
Well, for me, I think most guys do, and for me, it was weird. We didn't punt until halfway through the second quarter. I was waiting to get my first punt in. I want to get it out of the way. And so I had to keep that nervousness of that first punt. Like, I even have that in the preseason game sometimes. Once I get it out, I'm good. And I didn't get to do that until, like, in the second quarter. And my first punt wasn't great. The rest of the game I played pretty well and everything. I'd say I did everything pretty much mistake-free except for the first punt. And I was nervous as hell. But as soon as it got out of me, I was good, and it was just a game. And I know towards the end, we got that safety at the end, and I was about to do a safety into about a 10, 15-mile-an-hour breeze with like 2 minutes left to be like up by 3, and then it ended up being out of the back of the end zone. And it felt like any other kick, but I mean, I felt the lights. I knew the people were there. I tried not to think about it, but that something extra is going on. You just try not to put your head there, because if you put your head anywhere else but what you're doing, you're dead.
I don't know how much football you've seen this year, but maybe just get your thoughts on the special teams in this game between KC and Philadelphia, and I guess general thoughts overall in the game.
Yeah, I mean, special teams I haven't paid much attention to. I'll be honest with that. I have watched all year, and I know both teams and seen them a lot. At the end of the day, all different things can happen, but at the end of the day, whoever wins the turnover battle wins almost every football game ever played. And so it's protecting the football. It's the nuts and the bolts of the game, but at the end of the day, I think that Philly defense is better than that Kansas City defense. And I think the Kansas City defense is going to get beat just a couple more times, and I think that's going to be the difference. I've liked Philly since the day one I knew this matchup was coming. I know it's Patrick Mahomes. I know they lost the last one, so I know there's, they don't want to lose another one. He doesn't want to be the guy that keeps going. He doesn't want to be LeBron James that goes and loses more than he wins. And so I know that's probably big on Patrick Mahomes, but as long as the moment isn't too big for Jalen Hurts, I just think that team is too good top to bottom to beat.
Hey, by the way, Philly, you talked about this with the guys from Tyler, Texas, where you went to JC. I heard you talking about Rich. Or maybe it was Gabriel Morency you're doing the interview on Sports Ridge. Philly cut you.
Philly cut me after, they drafted me.
Yeah,
Philly
so
cut.
I can't be rooting for the Eagles.
I know, but they still send me Lemonize stuff, and I get Legend stuff sent to me, and I still feel good that because I only played 5 games, they still send me stuff. So some teams like the Saints don't send me nothing. I mean, I have my best 3 years of my life in there, and they don't send me anything. And the Eagles are always inviting me places, and the Rams are always inviting me places. So I loved the Rams last year. So I love the Eagles this year, and I just, that's the story of Jalen Hurts. I don't know how you can't be a fan of his. Patrick Mahomes is going to continue to be there. The next 10 years, he's going to go to 5 more. With him and Andy Reid, as long as Andy Reid doesn't go anywhere, Kelsey doesn't go anywhere, they're going to win, 2-3 more at least, I would think. Jalen Hurts' team, they got a good team, but we always say that teams fall off, free agent stuff happens. But just Jalen Hurts, I am such a big fan of getting knocked down that many times and keep getting up. And the guy is so humble. He's such a leader. He's so strong. His character's so strong. I'm a huge fan of Jalen Hurts, and I want to see him win.
You want Philly in the game? Are you betting on Philly?
I put my own money on it. Okay. I put a dime on Philly.
Well, tell you what, if
I
you're
had
betting,
a -2 there. It was -1.5 now, but I had him at 2. So maybe I'll do another bet at 1.5.
Well, here you go. Go to Bet99, and you wind up getting up to a $600 bonus. They'll match the money that you put in. So here's the deal.
Super Bowl bet. Then.
Here you go. Super Bowl bet for you. Total punts in the game, right up your alley.
What is it?
Over under. What would you set it at?
The over under game's going to be a high-scoring game. There'll be a couple early. They'll be getting their feet wet early. So I would say there's probably going to be about 4 or 5 punts.
7.5's the number.
I like under.
You take the under. So Mitch Berger has the under.
I'll take the under.
On the 7.5 total punts in the Super Bowl, you're taking the under. Hey, for people that don't know, you're living down in Arizona now. What are you up to now? I know you had back surgery and you're walking around.
I did, I had back surgery 8 days ago. Got a discectomy, just had a herniated disc and just recovering from that. But I'm with MJ here, my son, and he goes to school right in my little town where I live in North Scottsdale and coaching his basketball team. 5-0. Coach his football team. We're 4-0. Yeah, I coach spring, winter, fall, all of it. And he loves to play. I coach his friends, his buddies. We have a great time with it. And I just spend all my time being a dad now. I don't do all the stuff I used to do anymore, all the stories that I had. I don't have any new ones because I don't do anything anymore. But I do have some good ones from the past that I can always remember.
Well, I will say this. We've done this Radio Row with you before, and I've seen guys like Michael Strahan, Tony Gonzalez, other guys that don't even want to be out here.
Brandon Marshall today, I just said. Brandon Marshall says, he told his assistant, he goes, "This is the OG." He said, "This is the OG," and he grabbed my back like twice.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like I said, with Michael Strahan, he came out. Randy Moss. Yeah. These guys came out, they did one show, and it was the show that you were doing, so I always remember that. Hey, Mitch, great stuff. Continued success with all your endeavors, and thanks so much for stopping by Radio Row here today.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm going to make that bet.